Hello and welcome everybody, I am one proud Bavarian and we are back here in Eirikes, Konungr Gudfried the Lionheart, the heir to the good old Konungr Brandr, of course, you know, a legendary man that came down from the English Isles about like 50 years ago or something, good 50 years anyway, I think. Wait, let me check. Ah, actually not, it's about like, you know, doing math is hard. No, actually this is incorrect, we have to take a look at Cagliari. It took us time to form the actual kingdom. We came down here in 910, so almost 50 years. Jesus Christ. That is quite impressive. And we had to defend against the crusade. In fact, we had to defend so hard that our father, Konungr Brandr, died in battle against Taylor's Crusaders, who I noticed, by the way, are sitting right here for some reason. I don't even know. He has some claims. He doesn't hold anything in particular, though, so he just hangs out, I guess. Why did we have a one-day pause? Well, we held a poll in the community section. Shout out to everybody that voted in time until 8 PM CET Monday. Any vote shift or additional vote afterwards will not be counted, just so you know. We had a vote there, and I didn't expect over 500 people to vote. You can check the description for the result at 8 PM CET. I took a screenshot, and I will link it down below. And it was a very close vote. I mean, most of you that voted will definitely know that it was a close vote. We had 43% for paganism, and that makes paganism the winner. And then we have 42% for Christianity. Doesn't make paganism a clear winner now, does it? It does make them a winner, though. So we will stay pagan. However, I have found, and I have thought about, a little bit of a compromise. I already had yesterday's episode recorded, and then half an hour earlier I was like, you know what? I don't like that episode. I actually have a little bit of a story twist in mind that I would like to do to implement and give this a bit of a personal twist. If what you will see in this episode is a bit heavy-handed, please cut me some slack. It's I have coded in the past when it comes to Paradox games. It's not real code, but it's Paradox code, and I've done that in the past. It might be a bit heavy-handed. There are some commands that I wasn't aware of existed. I used them as good as I can. If any bugs show up in the storyline, in the event chain that I wrote into the game here, then I will fix that on camera just by doing what I wanted the event to do with the console. But you have heard right. I wrote an event chain with several outcomes, out of which we will only see one, which probably indicates that I should have gone with just like pre-scripted stuff that just, you know, leads us through it in a singular manner. Instead, we have choices. Instead, we can do things that could differ, but we will just explore a single path of it. Alright, so what are we going to do? We are essentially standing on the wonderful Isle of Sardinia. We plundered Rome a bit, but don't worry too much about that. That was just a revenge plundering. We plundered Rome a bit, but the shores of Sardinia and Corsica are, of course, still bloodied. And let me tell you, we do not forgive and we do not forget, but neither does the Pope. I'm sure, look at this man, I'm sure that the Pope does absolutely despise us. We are right across the corner and essentially dominate the Western Mediterranean Sea. You know, we do also hold Malta, but that is a bit more independent, I would argue. Generally, I suppose, a bit more alone standing. So what we're going to do is we're going to have an event in 3 days that will guide us, or start to guide us through the event chain that I wrote. I hope that I finished the event chain this episode. If not, then we're going to see something in the next episode. It's like the next 10 years or so. We'll take a look at it, alright? So let's just start the game. And as I said, if it's a bit heavy-handed, please forgive me. It's just scripted. I could have just changed it in the console. I didn't mean to do that. But this essentially guides us into the syncretic solution that I have found to, you know, unite the poll results rather. The crusade left the shores of Sardinia bloodied, and as our true kingdom controlling the Western Sea undoubtedly has unmasked the cornered position the Catholic Church has found herself in. However, a good hunter knows to be wary around cornered animals. We mustn't let our guard down. Indeed, we mustn't let our guard down. So, you know, we're clearly, as I said, still in a very precarious situation, although we have prevailed. That after the war is over, you know, we try to continue pillaging. We try also to continue trading. That is something that is often overlooked, that we are traders as well. The Vikings, even here in England historically, were majority, you know, in their majority traders. They also still went through the rivers here in Russia at times to trade with the Roman Empire, or the East Roman Empire. So there is clearly a trader connection here, which I'm repeating that because there's going to be an event here in a second talking about trade. Right, here we are. The Pope's henchmen have attempted to smuggle weaponry into our lands, but fortunately their shipment was stopped in the harbour of Cagliari. Nonetheless, this surely will not remain their only attempt. The Christian merchants, though thought to bring us commerce when anchoring in our seaside cities, may instead bring weaponry to train an army of zealots right in our backyard. So this is a pivotal decision, because this is the first time the storyline kind of, you know, branches out. And after this, I will completely drop, after this event, I will drop talking about that I did this, because I wanted to be a bit more immersed. I'm sorry for the immersion breaking thing. It's just exciting to do something unique, to do something, you know, that the game mechanics don't allow for usually. But anyway, we can bar all Christians from anchoring. None of them can be trusted, or our coffers are empty. It is wicked, but we can't do anything. Now, our coffers aren't exactly empty. I think they're perfectly fine from the recent pillaging that we did. I think we should absolutely bar all of the Christians. And now let me just check. Yep, there you go. Our ports are closed to the Christian foreigners. Domain tax modifier minus 30% and city tax minus 30%. So trade is essentially stopping. We are only trading, you know, with our friends over here in the Britannic Islands, and other than that with Muslims. We had some clashes in the past with the Umayyads, but at the same time we never really had a clash comparable to the Crusade, so we do not close our harbors to them. And I closed the harbors to Christians. So there you go. Crusader Kings, I think we've already had that happen, dear Pope Urbanus II. I think you already called one of those. Prince Brandre approaches you. My liege, I have a great idea for a monument, something to raise our cultural status and make the people notice what a great ruler you are. I would require some gold and your patience, and the work would take a year to complete. Sure. How wrong can you go? The wicked lunatic in Rome has issued a decree urging all clergymen to incite the spark of rebellion in the hearts of the oppressed people of the Isles. Well, that's what they call them anyway. With the clergy giving sermons calling for a revolt against our rule, it is hard to determine who we can trust and who holds a knife behind their back. So, as you can see, the Pope isn't just sitting around. He's essentially agitating our islands. He's agitating every single one of our islands that is Catholic to revolt against us. Damn. I wonder how this one will go. This is getting out of hand. Plus 3% revolt risk for 10 years. Church is openly agitating against us. Damn. Alright, maybe that's the time, I suppose, to build up a bit of a retinue. Although we already... I can't even build up more. But we definitely want to keep the maintenance up. That's okay. Young Pamela has finished education. Pamela? Interesting name, buddy. Sure. With reports of the seed of resistance taking root within the population we have ruled over for half a century, we must take action before our enemies can. You know, I wrote that, and yet I can't read it. The issue arising before us is unlikely to ever see an end unless Catholicism is ripped out of the soul of the people. How shall we proceed? Right, and here comes a huge choice. This is a big one. So we can make every single Christian on our island disavow and die by the sword. Hey, you believe in Christ? No. Good. Now die. Or die by the sword. So a very radical option, and you can see I gave it plus 50% national revolt risk. That is pretty intense. That is pretty crazy. Also, the music is very, very quiet. Let me just turn that up a bit. It's Viking music. Not the people are the problem, the clergy is, which would give us a modifier until 47. Not the people are the problem, the clergy is. This one also, please note, this is only until 47, so it's not that radical, but it is quite radical. It would cause rebellions everywhere. This is too much for me. Right, so here is something that I want to address, and that I want to retcon at least a tiny little bit to make role-playing more suitable. We are ruling over an incredibly foreign land, you know, but you can't, it's not historically accurate, it's not likely that you can actually thoroughly, let's say, genocide a population over here, clean that up entirely, and then still be viable at holding the island. If we did that, we would actually absolutely lose everyone, pretty much, you know, if we, for example, eradicated everybody and then put Noron over here. So that's not very likely. Which is why I want to retcon Brandre af Ivar's bloodline. You know, it's like Brandre has become infamous for his intolerance of heretical thought and his promotion of the most extreme form of unnatural zealotry. I want to rebrand it that his hatred is oriented against Catholicism. Because that is what he kind of faced here. That is what he faced when the Crusade came. He died against it. I want to retcon it like that, because otherwise we would be in constant, permanent, and absolutely terrible opposition against almost all of our citizens in the Isles, and that of course is unacceptable. Like, that is unsustainable. We would be kicked out in a second if the game was somewhat realistic, so I want to retcon it to make it more realistic. And with that retcon, I will go with not the people are the problem, the clergy is. So we will root out the clergy, we will make every single one of them disavow or die by the sword, but the populace can be left alone. They have lived under our rule for almost 50 years. They're not enemies. They're our subjects, and we have to take care of our subjects, do we not? Now, if rebellions happen, that may be a difficult thing. Oh, my Conungre. We have evidence that we found someone supporting the traitorous priesthood. How shall we proceed? Ingfried Nigdag. You know, that's the thing. This is an interesting... I keep falling back into the immersion breaking thing. Conungre Gutfried. I almost explained how this event chain works, don't worry about it. Conungre Gutfried essentially has somebody in front of him, you know, it's a relative of his. Ooh, I'm not sure. Now that it is a relative, I don't think he's gonna... Look, I don't think he's gonna kill her. The priests smell indecisiveness. So essentially, if he is indecisive and doesn't go through with eliminating people suspected of it, it is easier, because then the water's muddied, right? He obviously doesn't know who is really supporting, who isn't supporting. If he just kills her, if he makes clear that he is in control and that anybody he finds even looking like they support the priest, they will die. And that, of course, you know, inspires fear in his subjects. But I don't think he's going to kill his relative, even if it is a far relative. You know what he's instead going to do? He's going to send her away. He's going to be a smart one. Wait, all of these are at my court. Can't marry off to anybody old even? Really? Nobody even, like, old wants a wife? Maybe you want a concubine. What about that? Ah, she's not even eligible to be a concubine. Can I make her leave the court? Because that is something that I would like to do. I don't know. I can't find her anywhere. Which to me means that I can't send her away. Alright, fair enough. You know what? I would like to send her away, but I can't. I don't want to kill her. I don't think that would be in character. But as things go on, we obviously don't have any contact anymore on the islands to Christian realms because the trade has stopped. And we merely have... excuse me? 4 years old. This is a fake... Sorry. This is me bugging out. And this doesn't even... This doesn't give me the effect... Because I scripted it that way that it only does it for people that are 16 years plus. This person, obviously not 16 years plus. I'm sure it's nothing. Doesn't even give us revolt risk here because, well, I'm bad at coding, as you can see. Don't worry about it. Ah, here we go. This is something that I want to go in detail into because I want to explain where we are from a roleplay point of view. Our people have lived under our rule for generations now, and slowly but surely they connected their beliefs to ours, and we became more alike. Oh. They are not Azatru worshippers, but they have implemented aspects of our faith into their own. In Rome, they must be furious. At the very least, this means that the hold of the Catholic priesthood of our subjects has been broken in this region. Our rule is showing results. So, Logoduru, over here, who was Fraticelli, but also very, very, you know, weakly Fraticelli. It's definitely like a priesthood. As a concept, Fraticelli is mostly geared against the Catholic Church. So, them straying from even that path is, I think, perfectly acceptable, perfectly normal. Our rule is showing results. So we now have an Arian population over here in Logodoro. Why would I choose Arianism? This is the majority religion of this country. Arianism is a non-Trinitarian belief that asserts that Jesus Christ is a son of God, created by God the Father, distinct from the Father, and therefore subordinate to the Father. It denies that Jesus is God the Son. The Ecumenical First Council of Nicaea of 325 AD deemed it to be a heresy. Why did I choose Arianism? I have two major reasons why once you get rid of the priesthood, we are eliminating the priesthood actively, please keep that in mind, but when you eliminate them, why would they choose Arianism? Well, Arianism is, and this is the core part of it, non-Trinitarian, meaning that Jesus is not God as an entity. They're not the same. They're not the same. And this is something that matches Northern mythology. So much so that even historically speaking, in England, for example, let me just take a look here. I had it open. Shit, I forgot about the name of that. Oh, give me one moment. It is called The Dream of the Rood. The Dream of the Rood was written in England while it was, you know, kind of close to being converted towards Christianity. And the Dream of the Rood describes something that can only be described as Christian northern mythology. It describes from the view of the cross, no joke, how Jesus fought a heroic struggle and his death was actually incredibly honorable and incredibly heroic, which is something that, you know, makes a lot of sense if you pair it up with a Zatru belief, with the belief in Woden, you know, with an honorable death, Valhalla, and so on and so forth. So it's just like a flavor. And Arianism was very popular in the Germanic tribes that migrated south. So if you live under a regime that is still Germanic, that still believes in the North Germanic gods and so on and so forth, and suddenly all of your priests are gone, no longer allowed to preach whatever the Pope says, you don't understand theology, you know, you don't exactly know how Jesus works, how God works. The Trinity is a very complex kind of topic. So what happens here is, in my fan fiction that I'm currently presenting to you as fact, because this is my playthrough, they turn to Arianism, which is a syncretic faith, or rather acts as a syncretic faith between the northern faith that we brought into these lands and the Catholic faith. This is why I chose Arianism, and this is how I want to combine the pole. I am not, as, you know, Konungur Gutfried, I am not the enemy of the Arians. The Arians do not listen to the man in Rome. The Arians are not threatened by the idea, you know, of Jesus not being the same as God. It's the same, for example, or it is the same in Islam, where Jesus is revered as a prophet, but not as the Messiah, the Son of God. And that is exactly the same thing we're doing here. Since we are only trading with the Muslims at this point, you know, we have some sparse relationships with the British Isles, I'm sure, but since we're only trading with the Muslims, their theology is also flooding, I can't speak today, what's up, is also flooding into the religion of our people, of the populace. And all of that kind of ends up in Arianism. I would be incredibly interested to learn what you guys think about my solution here. The scripting is lackluster, I know, you know. There's much more coming, though, different from religion, that is already in the game and that we will actually see. I think it still was worth it to delay it one day. But I'm telling you, Arianism, I think, is the solution here when it comes to, you know, finding a compromise in the poll. 43 against 42%. Man, this is a bit of a difficult episode to put out, because there's so much introduction and explanation, but that is the path that I chose to go with, so, you know, blame me, for sure. The cook had prepared a magnificent meal with lots of different fruits, various kinds of meat, plenty of freshly baked bread, and several mature cheeses. Right, I think we're gonna... We chased already. I think we're going to go with temperate, yeah. Right, let's carry on. Konungur, do we have evidence? Right, it's her again. You know what? I'm just gonna get rid of her so that she's no longer in the pool of characters that can be accused of it. The accusation is random. I clearly just defined some things wrong. Upon unveiling, a statue of yourself is revealed, and you notice the crowd smiling and giving you a round of applause. You know what? Thank you very much. Very kind, my son. And my queen has died. Damn, she's no longer spy master. No longer spy master, huh? I'm gonna put Alfred, Princess of Aariki, in, sure. This is a standard event. And there you go. Cagliari becomes Arian. So our domain is turning Arian. Ooh, look at you. My Konungur, we have evidence that we found someone supporting the treacherous priesthood. How shall we proceed? I don't know. I don't think... You know, he works for us. He's been very believable. But then again, he's hunting apostates and hasn't found anybody in a while. Huh? Boom. Got him. Dabbed on him. Hasn't found anybody in a while. Probably was part of that entire scheme. So yeah, we are now ruling over an Aryan population pretty much. There you go. Arborea has also become Aryan. Over time, this should also convert. This, I figured, should probably, you know, convert to... has a split chance between Arianism and Muslim, but that is up to this dude, not to us. And this one will also become Aryan over time, so don't worry about it. But overall, the islands are definitely looking away. Down here, the Orthodoxy will stay. I didn't change anything down there. Anyway, you want... I would like to have a realm of my own fitting for a warrior of my rank. Therefore, I propose a small exchange. Roxberg. What? That makes no sense. What the hell? Why would I give you that? You're a vassal over here in England. Through staged war games and large-scale exercises? Right, let's do some heavy infantry. Heavy infantry is always good, I think. Oh yeah, and this doesn't have any result anymore. You know what we're gonna do? God damn it. I have to do this on camera. You know, my apologies. You know how it is sometimes and all that. Oh, we don't have the ID. I have to do that off camera. I'm going to convert this off camera. That's okay. Debug mode off. Yeah, this is just... It tries to convert these because they gave the yes, but it doesn't do it because I don't properly rule over it. My bad. You want to be on the council, my son. Bow of Sinaka. Interesting, interesting. Who's voting for him? To be the heir, anyway. Yeah, the sister has to go. This is a man's job, quite clearly. Yeah, I'm going to convert all this manually off camera. Don't worry about it, okay? Ugh, you know, an entire day of work. And then nothing works. The Catholic clergy has been taken care of. Under the pressure by our mighty soldiers, every single priest disavowed Rome or found a quick end. However, in the end, it was our just rule over the common folk that gained us their allegiance. We're not so different from them anymore. After all the decades of rule and the defense of the Isles from the Crusade, we've begun to share many rights, and I didn't anticipate how long this text is. God damn it. Alright, we still have the church openly agitating against us for another 7 years, 8 years, you know. Obviously, the influence isn't that big anymore now that Catholicism is practically gone, but it is still there. The ports are also still closed. With the ports, I scripted a decision that once we hold Sicily and the boot, like this part here, we gain the streets of Sicily, which opens us up to the trade here, which right now is very tough to manufacture. It will just make it all cheaper if we have the straits. So once I conquer this, I can take a decision to get rid of our ports are close to Christian foreigners because it's balanced out by the trade with the Muslims that we would have over here. But that's a topic for another day because we're going to conquer that stuff in other episodes, I'm sure. It's just kind of like, man, this is so shitty. I'm so sorry. I had higher hopes for this episode with the scripting, and then it didn't work out. There are many legends about the great man whose blood I share. A particular story has been circulating at court lately. It focuses on an epic feat, but Brandre proves his strength of character. The more I hear, the more I wish to emulate him. Sure, I shall strive to be him. Absolutely. Now we're going to go and we're going to plunder, so we do at least something this episode. I'm going to roleplay that we can't cross the street, the strait here of Sicily. Instead, we're going to go up here and plunder Genoa, who coincidentally also are rivals to our own merchant republic in Venice, so I think this does make sense. Right, I'll devote myself to be a student of strategy. Man, with the own scripting, you know, I enjoyed scripting it, but at the same time, I think the drawback is that I know what the events are. And the events we got made it all quite simple. We didn't get a revolt there. We still could with the national revolt risk plus 3%, but normally when you don't kill people, you get revolts, and we didn't get any revolt. I was anticipating some. In the tests that I did, I saw like 5 to 6 revolts pop up at the same time, but that was just very unlucky, I suppose. What it comes down to for me is, I'm enjoying doing this, but at the same time, man, it mustn't be very entertaining to watch that. I hope that you know, consider my explanations for why I did Arianism, why I cracked down on the church, why I cracked down on our own income here by closing the ports off and by making it so that we have a reason to conquer things over here, you know, especially in the boot itself. Let me know what you think about that, and let's go from there, okay? I think there's a lot to talk about. God damn it. We will spread and pillage the countryside. Use your military skills to lead your men through the farms around Genoa, cutting away the food and water supplies of the defenders. Sure. My raiders scatter through the countryside, pillaging the villages and farms nearby Genoa and returning at nightfall to our camp, their bags filled with food and other loot. Beautiful. Very cool. Look at all these raiders. Who are they? Oh, from Norway. Jesus, down here. Really? Ah, we became a novice fighter. Well, I'm even plundering. Oh, okay. I'm leaving. Goodbye, everybody. That was a very bad battle right there. Pick an ambition. What should we pick? Yeah, not become a trained fighter. I think our fighting years are over. Gottfried is not a good fighter. Instead, I do think he's kind of business-oriented because he already lost the trade for the islands. So he's business-oriented in the hopes that he can restore the wealth, you know, get more income here. And I think that is his focus indeed. So he's going to stay at home. He's never going to lead anything anymore. We do have a crown, right? Crown of the Seas or something? Yeah, there you go. Crown of the Sea. Beautiful. That's a lot of money we got there for nothing. Damn. Right. What should our ambition be, though? Because in the next episode, we are going to look towards restoring our situation here as a trading powerhouse. Because we still do have a prepared invasion, for example. I think we should use that against maybe Capua or against the East Roman Empire. That could be an option. I think... I don't know. Become Emperor? Not really. None of these. I guess a massive hoard of wealth, as unlikely as it is to actually happen. I guess that is a good idea. Ooh, what are you doing? Attacking... What? Why are you trying to conquer that? Are you joking? Man, I regret coding all those alternative paths. We didn't see any of it. I'm so sorry, guys. I tried my best, okay? In the next episode, we will go back to war. I just... Like, I kind of wanted to put the... I think you know, I can improve on this in the future on this channel. I just tried to, like, make it more roleplay than just the console commands. But nothing happens. The revolt risk does nothing. Nobody's rebelling. I don't know why. Alright, let's take a look at the marshal here. Let's get Frodi, Thane of Malta. Conversion of Augustine. They become Muslim. Well, I mean... That's the only people they border, so that makes a lot of sense. Arianism, though, generally, by the way, an interesting thing. You want to position on the council. Yeah. I think you're important enough, mate. Simply don't think you are important enough. Right, I'm going to convert this to Arianism. Here I'm going to flip a coin. Muslim or Arianism. Slowly going to turn, you know, and this stays Orthodox. That's okay. Ooh! The Jarldom of Corsica. That's a cool Jarldom. I want this. God damn it. What's the vote looking like? Did I vote for... Oh, he's the only option we really have. I remember now. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Alright. These get betrothed. I mean, first of all, no, but... What are we gonna do with you, Liliana? I do wonder. Good warrior could be nice. Can we do a matrilineal marriage here? Oh, sure. You know what? You marry a good warrior. I think that is appropriate. Bring warrior blood from the Isles down here to serve against the false wicked priest in Rome. And England is facing a rebellion, interestingly enough. Conungur's Dur claims on... Conungur Dur? Who's Dur? Ah, if he takes that over, that's a good unification of kingdoms down there. But, I mean, who knows if they actually will succeed with that against Tjartan. Your steward comes to see you one afternoon. He explains that he has devised a plan to bring in exotic goods by setting up a trade route with a foreign realm. This would, of course, require sizable monetary investment, but the potential profits would also be great. Let's organize an expedition, boys. Outfit a ship for the trading expedition. Right. We need trade. Absolutely. Buy the merchant ship for the journey. 100%. Absolutely. I want to spend as much money as I can in that. We need to get trade going, boys. The word is spread that you're planning a trading expedition. A group of Godis have arrived at your court with a request. They're offering temple funds for the journey if you will allow them to come along. You know what? Sure. Don't see why not. Informed of your ambitions to establish new trade operations near my lands. Oh, we're going up there. I do hope you intend to compensate me for this incursion into the Republic of Tuatmumuhain. What? We could give him some coins. I guess. This is none of your business. How are we doing? Are we like... Oh, we're proud. This is none of your business, buddy. You're getting nothing from me. It is time to set out on the trading expedition. Hopefully it will yield good profits. foreign lands. In the next episode, we will see if we can yield some profits. Maybe I will, you know, if we do, I will maybe mod this modifier to be less bad. But as I said, the main goal here is to regain the footing over here so that we get a free sea way over here and are able to trade with India, essentially, you know, with the Silk Route, which would then take this modifier away. But until then, we will earn less money, and I will see you in the next episode. Thank you so much for watching. Apologies that it was a bit slow here today. Later, alligator. And don't forget to tell me what you think about the compromise here, that we stay pagan but our population becomes Aryan. Anyway, in the next episode, some big shifts will happen in many ways. Trust me. Later, alligator.